arguing for a system that's deeply connected to Islamic values. And right here, with this one sentence, Dr. Baluch just gets to the heart of the problem. It's a situation a lot of countries have faced. Everyone agrees the system is broken, a leftover from another era, but nobody can seem to agree on what to do about it. He says this is basically a crisis of identity. I mean, if you don't even know what a national education is supposed to look like, how can you possibly fix it? You're just guessing. And that's his main critique of these, what he calls, borrowed models. They just don't fit. They were built for a totally different culture, with a completely different set of values. It's like trying to plant a tree in the wrong kind of soil. They might teach skills, sure, but they completely fail to build a sense of who you are. This comparison really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the system as it is, which he says is pretty much just focused on training you for a job, totally disconnected from your own heritage. But on the other side, well, that's his alternative. It's holistic. It doesn't see a difference between the spiritual and the practical. Instead, it weaves in all together, grounding everything in a nation's own story. So, if the old foundation is totally cracked, you can't just patch it up, right? You need to build a new one from the ground up. And this is where Dr. Baloch goes from being a critic to an architect. He starts laying out a brand new framework for how education could work. So let's see what these big principles actually are. Okay, so these are the big pillars holding the whole thing up. And you'll notice they're really broad, very humanistic. Integrating faith and knowledge isn't just about religion in school. It's about making the search for knowledge a truly meaningful act. Leading from darkness to light. I mean, that's a goal of any great education system. And this is key. The whole system has to be about creating a peaceful society and really encouraging curiosity, a drive to explore and figure things out. Now here's the absolute linchpin of the whole argument. One word, Iqra. It means read. According to the author, the fact that this was the very first command in the Quran, well, that changes everything. It means education isn't a privilege, it's not an option, it becomes a compulsory, universal human right. For Dr. Balach, this means any government that calls itself Islamic has a fundamental non-negotiable duty to give every single child, boy or girl, a free and accessible education. Of course, having a philosophical blueprint is one thing, but, a plan is just paper. How do you actually build a new system? Well, Dr. Baloch says you have to start with the architects, the teachers. He argues this is the most critical step of all. This really shows you just how huge of a shift he's proposing. On one side, the teacher is basically just another employee, a cog in the machine who does what they're told. But on the other side, the teacher is the leader, the guide. They're respected, they have autonomy, and they are directly responsible for what's taught and how well their students do. It's a total flip from administration-led to educator-led learning. And this vision of teaching, it goes way beyond just academics. The author points to two really important concepts. Tarbiyah is all about developing the whole person, helping a student reach their full potential in every way. And Ta'ib is about character, about helping a learner develop self-discipline and, well, become a good person. So in this system, a teacher isn't just an instructor. They're a mentor for a student's entire growth. All right, so you've got these empowered teachers. Check. But what should they actually be teaching? This brings us to the second pillar of this whole reconstruction project, the curriculum itself. For Dr. Baloch, the way we teach now is all broken up. Subjects are in their own little boxes. Science is over here, history is over there, and ethics is maybe an elective somewhere? He argues for what he calls a unified whole, where learning, faith, and character are all woven together into one educational tapestry. Now, this is where his proposal gets really expansive. And honestly, it might surprise you. You might assume that an education based on Islamic values would be pretty narrow, focused mainly on religious texts. But Dr. Baloch argues, based on the source material, that the complete opposite is true. So that's the big question, isn't it? What kind of knowledge is actually being pushed for here? What does the foundational text itself tell people they should go out and learn? And the answer, he says, is a direct command to get out there and investigate for yourself. It's not about just accepting things. It's about exploring, about questioning, about discovering how the world works with your own eyes and your own mind. It's a clear mandate for hands-on, inquiry-based learning. And get this, look at what that investigation means. Based on his reading, Dr. Baloch argues that people are explicitly told to study astronomy, geology, oceanography, botany, zoology, even human embryology. This is not some minor suggestion. He's framing the pursuit of natural science as a core religious duty. So why this intense focus on science? Well, in this model, there is no conflict between faith and reason. They're not enemies, they're partners. Studying the natural world isn't some separate secular thing. No, it's the main way you come to understand the work of the Creator. The idea is the more you understand the incredible complexity of creation, from a galaxy down to a single cell, the deeper your faith becomes. So in the end, Dr. Balau's work is really a powerful challenge to stop borrowing and start building. He paints this picture of an education that is both modern and scientific, but at the same time deeply, deeply rooted in its own traditions. And it leaves us with a pretty big question, not just for one country, but for any society, really. Could the real key to fixing education be to reconnect it to the deepest sources of its own culture?